Welcome everybody, this is brothermutant here. Today we're going to start a new LP. Now before we get started, just a little note for those of you that are watching my other LP right now. The Path of Evil, that's a mod that came from Neverwinter Nights 2. Do not worry, I will continue to work on that mod. I enjoy it. I'm not even a quarter of the way through it, I'm fairly certain. It is huge. But I just got this game. I'm very excited to play it. And again, full disclosure, I have actually never played Pillars of Eternity, the first one. So this is all new to me. I like the look of it. I bought it in advance. I've been waiting for it for a while now, so let's get into it. Now we will actually do multiple LPs of this eventually. I'm going to do this one to learn the tricks in classic mode. I won't do Trial of Iron or expert mode yet, and I'm not going to do any scaling. I just want to see what the game has to offer. Then I'll go back and do a veteran mode and probably chisel with some of these. I'm never doing Trial of Iron, just to point that out right now. Basically what Trial of Iron does, like it says right here, only one save file is kept for the entire playthrough. The party is killed, the file is deleted, and you must start again. This option can't be changed in-game. Why anyone would want to do this other than to just have bragging rights or maybe like make a feat, some kind of accomplishment or a reward that they get for actually beating it, or just, you know, like I said, the ability to say, hey, I did it, that's great. I'm not going to do that. That's a huge waste of time. If you die, then what's the damn point? But the veteran, Path of the Damned, I may change expert mode a little bit. I may affect the level scaling and making it only scale upwards, so that way I don't get to, power level, so to speak, my character. Have a level 9 wizard going around stepping on level 5 characters because I did all the little side quests and stuff like that. That's what that only scaling upwards would actually benefit you for. But again, we will do those later. Those will be more likely than not, once I get a feel for the game, multi-class characters. So this is something that they've added that's very new, and I'm eager to show it to you. However, I'm not going to use it on this main character. We may do with one of the other side characters that join us, but let's actually get into the game and you'll see what I mean.
Aora, a world where mortals live, die, and are reborn through the turning of the wheel. The cycle of reincarnation watched over by the gods, and made possible through pillars of a mystical substance known as Audra. 5 years ago, you traveled from your home to the Deerwood, a nation that had waged war against the incarnated god of light, Aethys, resulting in his destruction. The country suffered from a plague of Hollowborn, infants born without souls, that many believed was punishment for killing a god. In an ancient, secluded ruin, you witnessed a secret ritual that inadvertently transformed you into a Watcher, one who can see and speak with souls. The ritual also gave you horrible visions, waking nightmares of a past life that threatened your sanity. To put them to rest, you pursued the man who had led the ritual, a seemingly immortal agent of the gods, known as Theos Ix Arcanon. With divine assistance, you confronted and defeated Theos, ending your visions and resolving the Hollowborn crisis. In so doing, you also learned the great secret that Theos had protected. That the ancient empire of Anguith had transformed themselves into gods. Your visions finally put to rest, you retired to the castle of Cadnua, built atop a massive statue of pure Audra, where you ruled in relative peace and prosperity.
Made a nice story. You fixing up that old keep? Lifting the curse? Must have told it 100 times. but something got to gnawing at me. Thinking the spirits there weren't really at rest. Maybe the gods weren't finished with us. I used to dream that when my god came back, he would forgive us. That's the trouble with dreams. Sooner or later, we all have to wake up.
And so you wake to a sleepless world, the in-between of life and death. Follow your memories. You have been here before.
Alright, let's do this.
You have seen past the shroud. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
A watcher sees souls, knows their pasts, and the souls see them back.
A dubious honor, inheriting a fortress both broken and cursed.
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked?
That sounds like a good one to me, yeah.
The gods aren't real, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
And did you ever consider that these were things you were never meant to understand? That their comprehension is beyond you?
I don't like this guy. He's mean. I think that's the bad guy from the first one.
Let the world see. Let them decide what to do.
The wheel has turned again, Watcher. Come.
So those were little tidbits from the first Pillars of Eternity. I know that much. I've actually seen quite a bit of Pillars of Eternity on YouTube. Very interested to see what they do for Pillars of Eternity 2. So that's the reason for buying this game.
An aged dwarf shares this strange floating platform with you. His face is creased by so many wrinkles that his features lie buried amid shadowy pockets of skin. Still, the dwarf's well-practiced habits have left telltale tracks of a welcoming rictus across his visage. You can see his smile coming before it blooms, reshaping the dwarf's face from a hanging sack of flesh into something resembling an oddly carved, merry gourd, replete with unhealthy bumps and discolored splotches.
Okay, well I guess the indication is that we're going this way. Can't click on them, so we'll go down the path. Oh, that's nifty. Ooh, hello.
Sit. Please.
Tutorial. Click on the highlighted objects to interact with them. Each type of object has its own type of basic interaction. Doors will open or close, locked objects will be unlocked, items will be picked up, people in the world will speak with you, and enemies will be attacked. Kind of common sense. Okay. Where is it though? Where is somewhere? There we go.
Thank you for joining us, Watcher of Cadnua.
The The gaunt woman seated at the table is clad in time-worn black armor that seems too massive for her to move in. A pale, slender neck rises from the gorget, topped by a hollow face. The milky skin stretched across it is delicate and translucent, like parchment that has been scraped clean too many times. She is preoccupied with the arrangement of cards on the table between you. With each movement, her armor squeaks and groans as though bearing an incredible weight. She places a final card, gives a nod of satisfaction, and raises her eyes to meet yours.
Your brush with the divine has drained you of your powers, fractured your memories. Look upon these cards. They represent the courses of your life. You alone know best how they flowed. Arrange them to fit what you remember.
Okay, now, so for those of you that are familiar with the beginning of this game, this is Old Hat. And sadly, there's no way to get around this introduction. It's very slow, very pretty. I like it, and I love the voice acting, but I can see how this could get tedious. Now, what you have here is pre-picked histories, if you will, of Pillars of Eternity 1, the very first game. Since I've never played it, it was nice of them to give us some general defaults. So basically, you're a bad person, you pick this one here, Keepers of the Secrets, and you can click on it, it gives more information down below. Dark Times, Survival of the Fittest, Fair and Balanced. Let's see. Judicious and balanced, tempered, irrational thought and fairness rather than sympathy or emotion. Or you could be the benevolent soul and just help everybody, because why wouldn't you? So basically, what kind of character you want to be? You want to be the awesome sauce great guy, you want to be the evil bastard. That's what you can do. Now this one here is a pre-made history that I built, that they allow you to do that at the very beginning if you want to. You can go through and answer a series of questions. How would you have done this? How would you have done that? And this is for those people that remember playing Pillars of Eternity and say it lost their save file. This is the way they could just go back and say, oh yeah, I remember saving that guy. Oh, I remember killing him. Oh, I went and sided with that god. And you can go through and pick and choose and build your own. Now, I did that for fun, but I'm not going to once I realize that we have these choices here. I'm just going to pick one of these. I feel like we're fair and balanced. You selected
Does everything
history.
appear to be in order?
Yes.
Good. Welcome to the Beyond. I am Bera. One half, anyway.
She points a finger in the direction of the dwarf who led you here. Though the movement is slight, her gauntlet squeaks like a rusty hinge. The dwarf's rictus returns as he nods in the woman's direction.
Tell me, do you remember when we last met?
This one here is up for grabs. I mean, let's see, Yes in the Hall of Stars and Twin Elves. This one here is a result of your choices you made in Pillars of Eternity. This would be the one that you'd pick based on the history you built. You can say you don't remember, remain silent. I don't know what any of these will do, but this one here is probably the one that goes with the history that we already chose, so I'm going to go with it.
And though you could have broken your pledge when you defeated Theos at Sun and Shadow, you did not. Admirable.
Yeah, she likes me.
She delicately places a card on the table. A bell in a tower. Her fingertips slowly drag away from the card, faintly creaking as they retreat across the table.
You had need of the gods once before. Now it seems we have need of you. The being that occupied Odnua's statue beneath your castle was the dead god, Aothus. Of this we are certain. What we do not know is what his intentions are. Though Aothus stole a large fragment of your soul, you were strong enough to survive the onslaught and enter the in-between.
The only thing I do like about this game, for those of you that don't know, you can highlight over certain things and they'll actually give you a brief history, if you will, a snapshot of what it means. In between, basically, that place between life and death, I think. So, basically, we're deciding on whether or not we're going to be obliterated and die, or literally be reincarnated, which is something that exists in this particular world.
You and he are still connected. He has chosen a body made of living Audra, perfused with the power of thousands of souls, including yours. It should be little difficulty for an experienced Watcher to find him.
Am I dead?
No.
Yes.
But neither is your body truly alive.
Oh.
Your lungs draw breath, your heart pumps blood, but your flesh is as soulless as a hollowborn. That is, until I return you.
Basically, this was the whole premise of the first game. There's a lot of infants being born without a soul. You come to find out that people were stealing the souls from the dead, and they weren't being reincarnated to the infants. That was something that we solved, presumably, in the Pillars of Eternity 1.
She delicately places a card upright on the table. The art depicts souls flowing out of a pillar of Audra.
Okay, so now we have our choices here. So we can basically refuse, which doesn't sound very heroic. Get on with it. Have enough doing. Why should I care? Well, I'd like to find him as much as you would. He destroyed my castle and killed who knows how many people around it.
I know. It is my business to know. 322 in Cadnua and your surrounding lands.
Damn.
Their souls remain in Aethys still. You have the power to save them. Serve me and I will return you to your body. Or don't, and return to the wheel.
Something tells me that going back to the wheel is a bad idea. Then let's get on with it.
Good.
Yay. I made the right choice.
Before you return to Aora as my herald, you must remember who you were. The last whisper of life in death.
For a moment, the sockets of her eyes darken, leaving the pits of a death's head gazing out at you.
When you can picture your own face, the Beyond will lead you back to your own kind, to the world of mortals.
Alright, now with that, figuring out who you are is basically what they're saying, character creation. I think that's a cool way of thinking about it too. Now, as I said, for this run we're going to do a purist. So the question is, do I want to be male or female purist? Well, I'm definitely going to play a male character in one of the advanced ones. So let's do a female one now, and then we'll decide whether we're going to do 2 male characters next, or a male and female character. We'll decide. But let's see. It doesn't matter which one you pick. And I wanted to see what the female models look like on this one, so this would be pretty cool. Let's go through the races. I know I'm going to play human. I'll probably play human, matter of fact, on all my runs. Unless I'm persuaded to perhaps play an elf. They do look pretty cool. Jeez, that one's creepy. But let's just show you the other classes. Excuse me, I mean the other races. This Awamawa basically are kind of like waterborne. They live near water, they're water type. Each race has a sub-race, by the way. So you can be the island ones, or you can be coastal. Notice they have a different feature here, but the +2 might in this case stays constant between the two. Right? These are particularly beefy hirsute characters, and while might plays a part for strength, it also plays a part in, I want to say, healing as well as magic damage. So all good stuff comes from might. But let's go back, check out the dwarves. That looks pretty cool. Again, plus might plus con, minus the dexterity though for all of them. And we have the boreal dwarf or the mountain dwarf. And again, slightly different bonus depending on what you pick. And this one here is particularly interesting. There's afflictions in this game, like almost every other game you guys will play. In this case, there's ones that target your constitution, that make you sickened, weakened, enfeebled. Constitution-based ways for you to resist that. There's going to be ones for dexterity and will, stuff of that nature. But by and large, this bonus, this resistance, will be extremely useful. Hunter's Instinct. Look at this one. The graze is any attack roll that is between 25 and 50. A graze reduces damage and duration by 50%. Now this one, you have increased chance to graze. Let's see. Generation of Conflict have given the Boreal Dwarves an increased chance to graze against them rather than miss. So if they miss, obviously no damage, no effect. But if they roll a miss, the game, I'm assuming, randomly chooses to convert some of them into grazes, which is what this is basically telling you. Kind of cool. So it's like a I never miss kind of character. Elves, of course, some of the prettiest ones you guys will see. Nice dexterity and perception, very useful. Let's see, I want to say one of these is responsible for your accuracy. I think it's perception. We'll see that later on, though. And we have the Pale Elf, which is what's indicated here. It has some burn and freeze resistance. Over here, we have the Wood Elf, probably the ones you guys are more familiar with. And they have natural resistance to dexterity afflictions, which are hobbled, immobilized, and paralyzed. Very useful. Back. Godlike. Now, these ones are trippy. Dexterity and intellect bumps. And there's Death Godlike. Boy, look at that. That's just creepy. Fire Godlike. And you can change the heads a little bit in many cases. Moon Godlike. That one's kind of cool. And Nature Godlike. Kind of like Swamp Thing. Increased power level. That's nice. Increased power level basically is like saying if you're casting at level 1 and you have an increased power level, then instead of it being a level 1 effect, it's like a level 2. It's really... Now these are the Orlans. Low might, plus perception, pretty good perception matter of fact, and decent resolve, and this is basically like your will. Now there's the Wild Orlan, which is what you're seeing here. Resistance towards resolve afflictions, so like your will effects, so shaken, frightened, terrified effects. Hearth Orlans, less fur. Minor threat. They convert some of their hits to crits, so almost like what you saw with the dwarves, where they take misses and convert some of them into grazes, so you're at least doing something to the target. In this case, you're more likely to crit because a hit gets turned into a crit sometimes. Kind of cool. And I can see the benefit of them. But now let's take a look at our humans, right? Might and resolve. Not bad. Basically, we're tough, fighter types, damage types, and resolve, high will, which kind of explains people, I'd say. Now you have meadow folk, ocean folk, savannah folk, but you notice that we all have a fighting spirit, so nothing changes, just the skin tone, if you will, of the character. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason you shouldn't pick one or the other. Go with what you guys please. A nice Viking chick impresses me, and I'm not really decided yet on my class. I'm thinking though fighter. Again, we're not going to multi-class this time, and even though the game suggests only for new players to do single class, that's not why I'm picking it. I want to play the game, and I want to see what tier 9 abilities it get me. That's the only way to get it, is by single classing it. Multi-classes get effects from 2 different classes, and they can build all the way up to tier 7. So you're missing out on the tier 8 and tier 9 stuff. But they're rewarded in the fact that they have 2 different sets of abilities to pick from, which is why multi-class is super appealing. And while I'm fairly certain I could figure out a decent multi-class without gimping my character, we're going to go single class because I want to just see what they have to offer. Now, this will be familiar to just about anyone that Ds and Ds. You have your wizard, rogue, ranger, priest. In this case, is kind of like a cleric. The cleric in this game actually is if you multi-class a priest and a fighter, they call it a cleric. Actually, anytime you multi-class, they call it something different. They give it a new title. And I think it's actually quite cool. But like a wizard and a druid, for instance, I think that's the sorcerer. If you went wizard and fighter, that's like a battle mage, I think. So again, they give them different titles. And you can see that there's a lot of different customization you can do for these. Not just in the abilities that you pick, the spells that you use, but also which multi-class you pick, right? Are you going to be a ranged attacker? Are you going to be someone that crowd controls? Are you going to be the healer and buffer of the team? Are you going to be the tank up front? Then go monk, paladin, fighter, one of your tougher types. Barbarian probably would work. Ranger, I think, can pull it off, but I'm not a big fan of the ranger unless I'm going to do ranged attacks. And I know that's just because of the name, but really, rangers have that pet. Set the pet out to do some damage, and then you stay behind the pet and do your damage at range. That's how I envision a ranger behaving. priests are basically your healer types. Paladins are your fighter healers, which is a nice one because they actually do a lot of damage. The ability to heal themselves and their team is extremely... That's not bad. Maybe she is a paladin. Oh, that's a good idea. Well, let's see. Barbarian, of course. Your crazy, frenzy, raging monstrosities of just whoop ass of damage. Very cool. Nothing wrong with them. Chanters are, for those of you that look at it and read this, you'll kind of get the idea what we're kind of going with here. Basically, these are your bards. They can't call them that, but basically it's the bard. And they behave like a bard, so it's very good class. There's nothing wrong with this. Spellcasting, team buffing, enemy debuffing, very good class in my opinion. Cypher's a new one to me, in that it's basically psychics. And this is very appealing, so I'll probably make this one of my multi-classes. You can Cypher solo, you can do any of these single class. There are some, though, that single classing them makes it extremely difficult, like the Cypher's one of them. Here, let's just show you real quick. There's no subclass in this case, and then there's the Ascendant, Beguiler, Soulblight. You're, by and large, from what I've been told, you're more likely to single class Cypher and be successful, happy with it, I guess, if you picked any of these three. No subclass, there's no penalties, but there's no real benefit to it other than you get access to everything. So the penalties in these cases are usually necessary because you're getting such a great bonus than something else. So that's really what we're talking about here. Druids can basically pick anything. And Animus is basically like saying no subclass. They just gave it a name, I don't know why. Fury, Lifegiver, and Shifter have benefits as well as penalties. Good stuff there. There's nothing wrong with any of them. But fighters are appealing because, again, you can just pick just a no subclass fighter and just have fun with it. But there's ones that give some pretty good benefits here. Lower reflexes, lower stride, unbroken. These are basically your tanky tanks. Yeah, glaciers of the battlefield. Just sit there and they just absorb damage. This would be a fun one to play. Devoted. I think they get a specific weapon that they pick and they say, that's my weapon and that's all I'm going to use. They can use other stuff, but they get a penalty for it. Blackjack, it's kind of... how do you explain this one? They're weapon proficient. Kind of like weapon master would be the way I'd look at them. Monks, no real surprises there. Paladin is what we're going to be, and there's categories of them. There's Bleakwalkers, Darkosi Paladini. We'll go through some of these here real quick. Gold Pack Knights are actually kind of an important one. They have a sworn enemy, and they get to turn gold, which gives them like armor plating. It's actually kind of cool. Kind Wayfarers, Flames of Devotion. Heals nearby allies, White Flames. Shield Bearers of St. Elia. They lay on hands like that. Sorry for being killed for a short time. Ooh. Oh, I killed with a shield +1 engagement. What's that? Go after engaging curves. So the attacker get close enough, he or she will engage. When a character is first engaged, he or she will stop moving. The character is free to move around or engager. I think that's what the +1 engagement means. So at the very bottom, some creatures, especially large ones, may be able to engage more than one creature at a time. So basically what that's saying is, if you want to hold aggro, would be a good term to use here. The bad guys are charging you. You can't keep them all focused on you. This one gives you a plus to that. So this one sounds pretty interesting to me, and I like the fact that it gained lay on hands. I wanted to take a look at the other one. It grants a minor flame shield to the target. Now this one still is more like 4. If I want to be the center of attention, which is basically the whole point of being a single class, this would probably be the way to go, I'd say. Let's give it a shot. So I get to pick an ability. So here's Flames of Devotion. You right click and it tells you more about it. Bonus accuracy 10. Liking that. Full attack. To self, you get +25% damage dealt as burn. This sounds like fun. Calls upon the paladin's inner fire, causing their equipped weapons to burst into flame as they strike and adding burn damage to the attack. Boom. Now it's sworn enemy. Marks an enemy as the focus of the paladin's righteous fury, granting a damage bonus against the target until combat ends or the target goes down. So that's the duration for it. Recovery time, very quick to cast. Recovery time short. Loud, range is good. The loud is actually because this game actually has the ability to draw attention to you based on the noise you make. So if you're screaming and yelling, the bad guys upstairs might hear it and say, hey, let's go mess with that guy. So, kind of cool. I like this one. And this one looks like it's instant effect. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it sounds cool. And I like the idea of extra burn damage. That gives me some elements and stuff. Now, the one thing I did like about this game is they give you, even if you multi-class, they give you suggestions on where to put points. It's not saying you should ignore stuff. And you can lower ones, by the way. You can totally make yourself a weenie if you want to. I can't think of any really good idea on dumping certain stats, because you pretty much need all of them to be at least minimum. The bonuses we're getting here is because of my human heritage, +1 might, +1 resolve. Good ones for me, so that actually works well. So let's make sure to put points in each of those. Get my con up a little. And my intelligence, and then we get 6 more to burn. And I can put them anywhere. It doesn't matter. You can put all 6 in here. I don't think it stops you. Yeah. So it's a point by point buy. So there is no slope of increasing like it to get to 15 to 16. It takes 2. It doesn't do that. That's kind of cool. So these are the points you get to spend. Period. I think we're going to make nice round numbers first off. Let's see, what does Mom might give us here? 14 might give us plus 12% damage and healing. That's nice. Plus 8 fortitude. That's basically like your saves for those of you that are familiar with D&D. So there's your fortitude, your will saves, and your dexterity saves. I think they call reflex saves. Those are in this game. So this is a way for you to increase it by fortitude. Constitution increases your fortitude as well as your health. So this might be a good one again for me to maybe get some more points in. Yeah, I could see being a tough guy, right? Not the toughest, but definitely not a weenie. Dexterity. Now I'm not very graceful. I'm average. My action speed is low and my reflexes are piss all. So that sucks. Perception. There's some accuracy though. And a little bonus to reflexes. I'll take a couple in that. Now the question is, what does intellect give us? Intellect gives us area of effect is 20% greater for any effect you have. And the duration of your effects are 10% longer. I can make it 30 and 15 as well as increasing my will. I'm just testing it to see what happens. Resolve. Minus 12% hostile effect duration. So basically the effects on you will wear off faster. I like that as a tank. And it's a gold star one, so this one means it's probably a good idea to have this. Yeah, highly recommended for Paladin. Plus 4 deflection, so built-in armor and a decent will. Let's make that one max at 15. I like that one. That's a good idea, I think, for us. Alright, now, where are you from? This is important, too, because it gives you more points. So I can get more resolve if I'm from here. Deadfire Archipelago, which is where we're at. I can get a dex bump. Resolve bump from here. Intellect. Con. Might. Perception. I'm thinking resolve, and this one looks like a good one. Nation of Adir is at its heart and houses the majority of its human and elven populace, so I fit in there. That makes sense. And now, your job is dependent on also where you're from as well. So if I picked another place, these categories may not all be there. So I could be an aristocrat, and now these will give you skills built in. Colonist, dissident, drifter, a hunter, a laborer. And athletics is actually very useful. That might be a good one for me. Mercenary. Streetwise athletics and intimidate. I kind of digging that too. Well, I am a paladin, though. It's probably not really a mercenary. Streetwise, well, let's see. Clergy, religion, and a slave. Let's go laborer. Yeah, let's go laborer to get that +2 athletics. Athletics is one that allows you to kind of second wind heal yourself. You'll like that one. Now everybody at the beginning gets to pick 2 weapon types. Notice some stuff here when we pick these. Anyone can use weapons, so that's not really an issue. Notice the damage type up here. Pierce and slash. So there's 2 different ways for you to hurt somebody. I am a paladin, so you know I want to get me a sword, right? One-handed. Oh, wait, no, 2-handed. We got some really good. Oh, I need to be shielded up, right? Dagger. Battle axe, club, flail, ooh, hatchet, mace, rapier, saber, Spear, stiletto, sword, half sword, warhammer. Ooh, what kind of paladin? I like warhammer. That sounds sexy. Let's take a look at that with sword, though. Oh, sword is more damage than... Oh, but there's two different types of damage for both. So slashing and piercing, piercing and blunt crush. Excuse me. Penetration's better in the warhammer, though. Everything else is... So penetration being better means you're more likely to do damage, if I'm not mistaken. It's basically like your way of piercing through their armor. So warhammer might be a good idea. Yeah, let's pick it. And small shield versus a medium shield. What's the difference? Section 4-8, -4 to accuracy. Ooh, that sucks. Plus when enemies engage, though, that works out well. What's the... Oh, large shield, right? It's like a tower shield. Yeah, real big nasty penalties. So let's grab just a small shield. We don't need to be crazy. I'd like to be as light as possible. And though these are our portraits we can pick from. Hopefully we get more choices later, but they got a pretty decent selection right now. I'm looking for... Yeah, it looks paladin-y. So does this one go too? And then the exotic faces, of course. Yeah, I think that one will work. All right, let's go for colors now. I have colors of my outfit, basically. My primary, my secondary colors. Primary is like the shirt, dress, whatever. Secondary, I think, is going to be this stuff on top. So, if I wanted to be, say, yeah, white, black, or no, it's green. I like a nice blue paladin. I like that one, I think, the best. Secondary. Though, yeah, I think that. Ooh, Archegos, maybe silver. That looks kind of nice. Yeah! Now, what kind of tan do I want? Am I the rugged paladin that's outside all the time? Or am I the fair-skinned maiden paladin who burns at the slightest provocation of sunlight in the area? Oh, right around the middle, I'd say. Hair. I like the hair the way it is now. We can change our head, though. I don't like that one. Oh, I don't really like that one. Okay, so my choices are, from what I can tell, damaged. I'm going to call that the old face. The I'm bloated with lots of cheese face. And the normal face, I think we're going to pick. Now we can do hair. Are we a baldy? Sinead O'Connor look. She's got to have longer locks than that. They're sticking out. I like that one, though. That's kind of cool. Ooh, that's trippy. And you can turn your character. So you see stuff. I really wish they'd highlight this border a little more so it's obvious which one you've picked on. The glamour puss look? I don't think so. No. Ooh, I dig that, though. That looks trippy. But not necessarily on this character. Okay. What on earth are you guys doing to my hair, man? Oh, I kinda dig that, though. That looks like her hair's been knitted out of gold. Doesn't it? Oh, man, I don't know. No. I like that one. We'll keep that one. Alright. Now we do voice.
I'll go on ahead. Just say the word.
After him. Time to see and not be seen. I've got this. Yeah! Shh. I'm flattered. Let us end this!
Let's keep quiet. Yes?
Leading the way.
Take him down.
Keeping quiet.
Follow me.
Let's go. I'll teach you a lesson.
Easy does it.
No prisoners! Onward!
So, for those of you that don't know, this is actually a downloadable patch. Voice Machina.
This is it.
I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my brain. But This is some voice work done by a very good D&D type group.
Go for the eyes.
I'll be right back.
I won't let you hurt my friends!
She's feisty. I like her.
I'm sorry, but eagle eyes.
No, I don't like that. I think noble for a paladin makes sense to me. Let's go with that. Alright, now pose. Okay, now if we click on here, bottom corner over on the side, you can zoom out, kind of get a better look at your character. She looks pretty good right now, I'd say. Now we can get the average pose, where she just stand there. The heroic, stick your boobs out. The sullen. I suck that it's here. My stoic. I kind of dig stoic. Sassy? For a paladin? I don't think so. Roguish? Punched. Looks dumb. So it's either average, heroic, or stoic. I kind of dig the stoic. For a paladin, you kind of have to, you know, put your arms up and kind of look your nose down at people. Even while you're helping them, you're still a fighter type, right? So what are we going to call her? I like Athena. First level paladin. Shield bearers of St. Eliga. Power source will be Zeal as a paladin. I'm human. Here's my stats. Accuracy +2, so I get a little bump for offhand and dominant hand. And health of 50, that's okay. It's not great, it's not horrible. These are my stats from down here. I got, oh, here we go, piercing blows. Piercing blows. Strike with heavy piercing attacks, gaining additional penetration at the cost of recovery time. Now, that's probably the benefit that you're getting from knowing about warhammers. For small shield, binding block, because I'm trained in it, use your small shield to better intercept melee weapon attacks and counter at the cost of recovery time. When missed by melee weapons, gain an increased accuracy on your next weapon attack. Kind of like a parry thrust kind of move. I dig it. Here's, of course, our Flame of Devotion. We activate it, and bam, we're suddenly doing damage. I assume we activate it. If we have it all the time, this will be amazing. Faith and Conviction. +8 to all defenses. The paladin's defenses are directly affected by the degree to which he or she acts in accordance with the beliefs of their order. Bonus, I should probably read out my order then. Bonus or penalties applied to defense based on how well the paladin's reputation is aligned with their order's preferred behaviors. Shield bearers of St. Elga, paladin order of Adrian bearers emphasize honesty and diplomacy over cruelty and aggression. I dig it. The shield bearers were founded in honor of an elven noble who helped unite the Adir and the Culquin kingdoms after a long war. Bonus, scaling hands. Enhance prevents time from being killed for a short time while equipped with a shield. +1 engagement. Boom, boom, boom. Basically, be honorable. I can probably muster that. And then, of course, my lay on hands. Let's look at what that does. Activate it quickly. Got to use quick move to save your people. Takes a while to recover to do something else, not just this move, which I think you can actually use it just the once. Any move. So basically, I activate it, and 4.5 seconds later, I can do something else. Swing a sword, shoot a pistol, use a spell, whatever. Range is kind of close, but I'm going to be up in the midst of it anyway. And the good news is it's relatively quiet, so I'm not drawing attention to myself. Cannot die for 5 seconds. 20 health restored per 3 seconds. Total amount basically restored is 33.3. Okay. Nice. Alright, I dig it. And of course, here's my skills. As a paladin, these are the bonuses I get, as well as the points I get from my background. So he knows my athletics is at a nice 4. That's pretty nice for me. And we'll probably use that in diplomacy, I'm guessing, to increase my stats later on, my skill set.
Go forth now, Watcher, as my herald. Know that I do not give you this title lightly. When the time comes, you will have the power to reveal the souls that cling to you. To open the gateway from the in-between to the waking world. Find Aethys. Learn his plans. When I have cause to talk to you, I will summon you.
Okay.
With a quick gesture of her hand, You feel a sharp pain in what would be your chest. The pain continues, intruding deeper into your soul. Looking down, you see a small lump of darkness roiling within you. The darkness lingers there, but the pain abates and fades entirely within the span of a few seconds.
What the hell is that?
A chime. Do not fear, Herald. It will not harm you unless you choose to cross me. I trust it will not come to that.
Her gauntleted hand gestures to the dwarf, hovering nearby.
That bitch just low-jacked me. I think she did. She put a freaking bomb in my chest.
The dwarf nods, contorts his face with his odd smile, and gestures to a new door.
Alright, I don't like you. If I can find a way to get rid of the bomb and kill you, I'm probably gonna do it. I'm just saying it right now. Bye, dwarf buddy. Alright. With that, we are actually ready to actually start our game. Now this will be an extra long first episode. And I'd like to say I apologize, but I don't apologize because this is the game we're playing. If you guys play the game, you will understand that you pretty much have no choice. I will edit what I can out, but by and large, the dialogue I need to keep in there because it's voice acted amazingly, and I want you guys to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. Alright, so there's our buddy, a deer. This is the talking stone statue from our old castle, Pillars of Eternity 1. Yeah, I know it sounds weird. You sense the steward's spirit in the bus, but she is unaware of you. Goosebumps rising at Air's arms at your approach, but he seems unaware of your presence. Well, then I'm going to go to my body. Poof. Power napping. It's the best.
The return to your body feels like waking after a fitful drunken sleep. The rocking of the ship sends pain jolting through your limbs. Crashing waves hammer inside your skull. Adair watches over your body with a glazed look, taking long, even tokes from his pipe. At the first movement of your chest, he starts. His gasp, mid-puff, sends him coughing and straining for breath.
Oh, there's no way. You're awake. What are you doing awake? How are you feeling?
Okay, so now here's some options we don't get. You can highlight them and actually see what you would have needed to unlock it. So if I was a mystic, which I think is a background, then I would have been able to pick this category. If I was a philosopher, with the +2 insight, I guess what philosopher gives you, I could have picked this category, but I can't. This is the result of your choices you made in Pillars of Eternity. Pain. Well, I'm a paladin, so I'm stoic, so I'd say alive.
Alive's a big improvement.
I hate to cast a pall over your recovery, but I'm afraid I have some bad news for you.
No,
The voice echoes from inside the bust. The remains of the steward of Cad Nua.
Cad Nua has been destroyed. Aethys possessed the statue of Maros Nua and rose from the ground, consuming the souls of all nearby.
He probably shouldn't have done that.
It is only by the exceptional strength of your soul that you survived. And even then, just barely.
My soul's awesome.
The further Aethys withdrew, the weaker you became. We chartered this ship and followed him to the Deadfire archipelago. I know not how, but it seems he has retained a piece of your soul, and proximity to it has brought you back.
I know.
How could you know all that? You've been faking on us.
He pokes at your shoulder with one finger.
Quit it.
Misfortune's brewing topside. Migrants fires the captain stirs.
An older man with ale-sour breath rubs his bloodshot eyes and stares at you.
Engrim, the smell of drink on your breath could wake the very dead. Now what's this about?
pirates. They're demanding parley with you, Captain.
Parley, you say?
I know this is asking a lot, but you better arm yourself and get on deck. Should be some gear in there.
He indicates a nearby wardrobe.
Well, alright. Time to gear up, folks. Alright, we are going to take off.
Alright, now make some use of it.
Okay. Tutorial, here we go. Equipping items, that's how we do this. Click on an item in your inventory to pick it up. You can place it in any of the highlighted slot to equip it. You can also double click items to automatically equip them. Cool. So I have what? Mail armor. Armor rating of 7. Versus damage types crush and freeze. Less. I think that's what that's telling me. 8 damage types in Pillars of Eternity. Slash, pierce, crush, burn, shock, corrode, freeze, and raw. Raw sounds interesting. Raw damage is the only damage type that ignores all armor ratings and is generally associated with poisons and similar effects. Coolsies. Right on. Now, I think what this is letting me know is that I have armor rating 7 against most things, but only 5 against freeze or crush. So this doesn't really protect me as well from those two types of damage. The recovery time means that it's increasing the recovery time of all my abilities. Everything I activate that has a cooldown, and everything that's like I can cast a spell and then I have to wait to swing a sword. That's recovery time. This is increasing that recovery time, meaning I'm slower, right? But of course I'm armored up. Simple clothing, no recovery time penalty, but my armor rating is a whopping 3. So yeah, we want it. And I look cool in it. What's this? Barris Black Bell. Restoration. What is this? Condemnation. Cast time. Air effect. The small bell of Umarin Steel has no striker, yet it produces a discordant chime when swung. This boon from Barith holds within it the power over life, death, and undeath. Friendly heals. Foes, it frightens. Accuracy versus will, basically I think that's like a saving throw check. The more accurate I am, the more likely it is to penetrate their will. Is how I'm understanding that. And then it does burn damage. Oh, very nice. It's holding my 173.3. Very nice. Accuracy versus fortitude. Cool. Right now, let's just double click it. Where does that go? Oh, there we go. Quick items. And a warhammer. You do get 2 weapon sets to pick from. Here's my shield. And yes, I can use both. So that's nice. That giving me some deflection. +1 engagement. All bonus, no negative. I love it. I don't know why I'm not... Oh, there they go. They're on my person. Then if I get another set, I can swap between them. You can unlock a 3rd and even a 4th set, much like these quick items. You can have 4 slots now, 5 or 6 later. I'm cool with that. And of course, crafting and other stuff that we'll get into. But let's get into this fight.
The pirates of Deadfire are notorious. I suggest you deal with them quickly.
Well, all right. Let's do this. Time to pirate.
Well, what have we here? A little sloop? Lost and alone in the storm? I'll be taking your ship now, if you don't mind. And especially if you do.
Well, at least he asked.
I am a gentleman of fortune.
Captain shrugs. This is Benwith, huh? Captain shrugs in the sheeting rain before pinning you with a slow, murderous grin.
Give her up easy, and I'll see you get a swift death. It'll be bloody and agonizing, sure. But at least it'll be quick.
Okay, so I don't have these requirements, which is aristocrat, mercenary. I bet you that's a nice one. Okay, I'm just going my captain now. We were not supposed to fight. We are paladins. We are supposed to be diplomatic. I don't have any quarrel with you. Why do you want my ship?
Why complicate this with a quarrel? I see, I want...
Sorry guys, I have to see what this is. You have gained a reputation and a disposition. Dispositions represent how people perceive your personality throughout the world. Even seemingly nasty reputations will be favored by some people, and benign reputations sometimes bring out the worst in certain people. No disposition is inherently good or bad until it is returned to Deadfire. To see icons for the effects of dialogue decisions on disposition, enable the show personality reputation option in difficulty settings.
It's as simple as that. Now then, me and my mates will be helping ourselves to your ship. There's no need to see her sunk by the storms, or my culverins.
With a grunt, he nods toward the port cannons.
Listen up, mates.
He cracks his neck as he addresses his crew.
I'm off to spear me a bigger fish, one with sharper teeth like. I'm trusting you lot not to cock this up. Don't damage the sloop when you take it.
He's leaving?
Play with the crew if you'd like, but don't bring me any prisoners. None that are alive.
Alright. Alright, I'm holding down the space bar to pause. Looks like I'm already engaged in pirate battle here. Here are my abilities. AI scripts, crafting, switching weapon sets, using the item that I was given, and that's the area of effect it has. Notice the two different colored circles or ovals. The inner one is the original diameter. I'm getting a bonus more likely or not because of my intelligence, if I'm not mistaken. I have paladin abilities of Zeal, Power Pool 3, Lay on Hands, 1 use, Flames of Devotion. I could kick that off right now and start doing some whooping damage. Maybe that's a good idea. Visage of Death Herald. Use your... Let's right click this. Here's gaze. Frightened. Ooh. Use your watcher powers to gaze through your target's eyes deep into their soul, temporarily frightening them. Dig it. Second Wind. This is because of the high athletic score that I have an increased health restore, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Acquires athletics and recovers health based on the user's athletic skill. So second one is very useful. If you can get athletics anyway, it's like a single person heal every encounter. Kind of nice, and it's instantaneous, so you can activate it while paused. Now I have my piercing blows, my binding block. I don't think I want to mess with these. These are low level pirates for sure. But let's activate this Flames of Devotion. Right? And I think that's just a click and it's working now. Oh, no, I got it activated against somebody. Oh, there you go. Get him, guys. It's flanked, that means you're taking more damage. Here we go. Oh, no. Get him, get him. Save everybody. I'm the paladin. I must save you. Yeah, my team is beefy. Get him good.
Storm's picking up. Take cover.
Oh. You've defeated the pirates, but you're not out of trouble yet. The storm picks up, lashing your ship and driving you dangerously close to a rocky shore. The Defiant's crew hurries to reduce sail and batten down the hatches. They work quickly, but the ship is still listing heavily. That's not good. Just then, a luge crate tumbles towards you, gathering speed on the rain-slicked deck. It misses you, but knocks Chitupek, one of your deckhands, off his feet. The Defiant heaves. Chitupek pitches over the side. He grabs onto the rail, but his fingers are slipping. He cries out for help. Meanwhile, the runaway crate totters on the edge of the deck, ready to plunge overboard. You recognize the symbol on the front and realize it is likely contains the salvage from Caed Nua, your keep. Crap. Alright, so we can either rescue him or save some treasure. We're heroes, right? At least in this playthrough. Maybe we'll be evil next time. Rescue Chitupek. You at your two-pet's arm just as his grip fails. For a tense moment, he hangs suspended over the rolling sea. Then, with a mighty tug, you pull him back onto the deck. Continue. You hear a heavy splash. The crate of Cadnua is gone. Chitupek, meanwhile, nods in gratitude and hurries to his station. Sorry, buddy. Meanwhile, the storm has nearly driven you ashore. A flash of lightning reveals a treacherous coastline. Aethys, striding into the distance. Oh crap, there he is. Jesus, he's huge. The lookout barely has time to shout a warning before the Defiant runs aground. The impact hurls you from the deck and into a froth of waves, bodies, and splintering debris. You struggle toward the beach just ahead, even as the surf tugs you toward the open sea. You kick and paddle with all your might, until at last you feel sand between your fingers. Pulling yourself ashore, you collapse. Wow. Okay, so the base area of effect for many spells can be increased by intellect and magic items. This growth is represented by a second, larger targeting circle. Characters in the enlarged area of effect are safe from an ally's hostile attacks. So if you're in the minor, the hazy looking part of the circle, then you're fine. If you're in the concentrated circle and it's not teammate friendly, you're going to get hit. I got it. That makes sense. It's kind of cool. Oh man. Seek out a means of repairing your ship. Explore the island.
You've been getting a lot of sleep so far on this trip. I'd have woke you, but you look so peaceful with your face in the sand.
Adair runs his fingers through his hair and removes a strand of seaweed he finds lodged there. He examines it closely and then tosses it into the sand.
If you're worried about the ship, you can stop worrying. It's wrecked right over there.
He points out the Defiant, despite it being difficult to miss from your vantage point.
So far, it's just you and me and the chair lady over there.
Adair nods towards something further up the beach.
It's a relief to see you awake, my lady. I worried you were in for another long sleep.
Your steward appears to be lodged between some rocks. Despite this, her tone is warmly cheerful. What happened?
Ran aground, looks like. Statue headed inland. Guess he had business here. Or he needed directions.
Yeah, it must be directions.
I do sense a few survivors close by. The rest... You could give them guidance, but they are beyond any other help. That is, assuming this experience has not diminished your abilities as a watcher. If you can see the souls of our dead and speak to them, it would be a great comfort.
Okay, so for those of you who are wondering what the heck we're talking about here, in the Pillars of Eternity, the very first one, you became a watcher very early on in the game. Basically, it allowed you to speak to the dead, see the souls of others, and it allowed you to do a lot of really interesting things. So basically what they're saying is, use your watcher abilities to help the dead.
A few's better than I would have thought. Better go see if they're all right.
Can we patch up the ship?
I'm certain you could, given enough time and supplies. But that wouldn't help you push the Defiant out to sea again. You'll need a crew. Andra claimed her fair share last night.
Let's see about the other survivors. And somehow we gotta get the ship repaired. I don't want to be paddling out of here on a salvage raft.
For now, I'd say your best bet is to find some sign of civilization. If nothing else, we may be able to hire on a shipwright. My lady, if it is not too taxing, could you explain how it came to pass that you were returned to us?
Bareth has given me a sacred duty. I am to hunt Aethys for the other gods.
I've had worse jobs. Of course, cleaning stables won't get you stepped on by a god most days.
I hear that.
Perilous endeavor indeed. Castle or no castle, you are still my lady, and I will aid you to the best of my ability.
Let's see here. Quest journal. As you receive quests, your journal will update with relevant information. If you are ever stuck, open it to review your notes by pressing the button on the lower center of the screen or the J key for journal. That makes sense. Next. Some of the quests you receive may be challenging until your character has achieved a higher level. A quest that is beyond your character's current level will be marked in your journal with 1, 2, or 3 skulls, one for every level. If a quest is more than 3 levels above your character's current level, then the skulls will appear red. Interesting. Oh, combat introduction. Okay, here we go. Characters with a red selection circle are hostile to you. To attack an enemy with your currently equipped weapon, click their selection circle. Makes sense. You can also select the looks like a sword button in the lower center of the screen to put the cursor into the attack state. This will allow you to attack anyone, even friendly characters. Why would you want to do that? Alright.
Well, I suppose we better get a move on.
Okay, so now it looks like we could either pitch a dare and say, screw you, man, we're doing this alone. And you could try to do this game solo. I wouldn't recommend it. But I could see someone doing this for gits and shiggles, trying to have some fun. But I think I need a team. Let's go. Choose this. Oh, here, this is cool. Choose a single class or multi-class for this companion. This choice cannot be changed later. Selecting characters. All right, let's do this here first. To select a party member, click on their selection circle, their portrait, or press the number button that corresponds to their position in the party, starting with 1 at the left. To select multiple party members, click and hold anywhere on the screen and drag the marquee over the circles of the party members you'd like to include. To select the entire party, press the whatever button in the lower center of the screen or the backspace key. I'm totally going to forget all of that. Alright. Oh, I don't know if I need a fighter. I'm already a paladin. I can make him a rogue, which could use a sneak thief. Oh, lie. Swashbuckler. Fighter rogue. Ooh. Would be nice to have 2 of us up in the front and thick of it all. And fighters have a lot of good shit going for them. The rogues can really combine their skills with his skills. We're going to be a little less roguey, but we can start making his sneak attacks and all that fun stuff. Really paying out with a nice fighter build, I think. I think we'll try the swashbuckler. Alright. Now, I know this video's gone on long enough, and certainly you'd like to see more action, but we'll have to do that in the next video. So I'm going to do a quick save here. I'm going to keep recording, so I'll have video 2 up shortly after video 1. That way you can really get into us scavenging the area and checking out people. But let's do a quick save. Now if you press the escape button, you see we have save game, load game, quit to desktop choices. Of course we can adjust our graphics settings. Very happy with the graphics that we have. I'm not in full screen mode, I'm in windowed mode, and I'm actually okay with it. It fills my whole screen. I feel pretty good about it. Maybe I'm cutting off a little to the side, but we will check that at another time. Now we have auto pause, and I'm really surprised. I thought we would get pauses when the combat began. We did not. I don't want to have pauses every time a character takes damage or is attacked or is hit. That just seems dumb. Melee engage, though, that might be okay. Weapon ineffective, I don't particularly care. It'll flag that for us and let us know that, oh, this isn't working, we need another tactic. But the extraordinary defense, if there's something that we're basically not being able to get it with the character, we're needing a dog pile on the rabbit kind of style of stuff. Now we can change combat time too for pausing, where we can make it scale in seconds and pause every so often, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, blah blah blah. So cool stuff there. Certainly here's our difficulty. Show personality, reputation. I think that's cheating. And I'm not going to say you can't do it. But it does seem odd to know what effect it's going to have. I'm just going to play and assume I'm making the conscious choice of what that I should be. I've lowered the music a bit. It was a little too loud. It's amazing, but it is a little too loud. Controls are fine. Interface is fine. I picked this one. We won't look at achievements because that'll ruin the game for me, I think. But we are going to save the game. Yes. Alright, with that, my name is Brother Mutant. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.